This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Schola in the new Full Battle Rattle Studios.
My family and I, we've kind of been criticized sometimes for some of the venues that we participated in. They've done a reality show. Oh, their daughter was on Dancing with the Stars. And I'm like, no, we want to get in there and infiltrate and influence pop culture.
We had such a great discussion last week, we just had to bring back Tina Marie Griffin this week. The counterculture mom gives us so many specific examples of what's wrong in pop culture and how we can combat the filth and protect our kids. Today we get into more specifics. Tina Marie Griffin, a member of the Moms March with Sarah Palin, coming up. Plus, we'll have the latest national and Alaska headlines and Sarah Palin news. We'll visit the Crow's Nest with Tanya Crow in California and a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert coming up from Texas. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio, available at mamagrizzlyradio.com and now available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. The Palin Update is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/fullbattlerattle.abq. One show just didn't cut it. Tina Marie Griffin is back again to discuss her counterculture mom site, the Moms March, Governor Palin, and more. And we had so much fun last time around, we wanted to bring Tina Marie Griffin back on the program today. So for the second straight week, Tina, welcome back to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much. This might have to be a weekly thing.
I would love that. We have so much to talk about. And, I wanted to talk first about Governor Palin specifically and also her daughter, Bristol Palin. They have really delved into the pop culture, and I love that about the Palins. A lot of conservatives just try to just ignore or say it's not there. Well, it is there, and people are watching it, and people should, if they want to, have that, whether it be music, TV, movies, whatever. And I always love how Governor Palin has said we need to infiltrate pop culture, not hide from it like some conservatives have in the past. And both Governor Palin and Bristol Palin have spoken a lot about family issues and about things that are going on in pop culture that are good for the family or not good for the family. So, one, I want to get your take on how you think the Palins do in that realm, and two, why is it so important to do that?
It's so important. I am so glad that they are addressing this issue. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I spoke at the Moms March for America event in Omaha, Nebraska. It was televised. MomsMarchUSA.com is the website for anyone wanting to watch the 3-hour march. It wasn't a physical march outside picketing because we don't do marches like the other women did earlier this year that did not represent a majority of Americans in our country. But we did a Moms March. We're marching for liberty, for freedom, to get our country back on track, morals, character building in our children. We want to leave a legacy worth leaving for our kids and getting the foundation back in the country of what it was founded on, God. So when I was at the Moms March, I spoke right after Sarah Palin. Never met her before, but I did talk to her after she got done. She's a fantastic woman inside and out. Loved her over the years, following her and her platform. But the neatest thing ever was she had a very key sentence in her speech right before I went on. And she said, one of the top reasons our kids today are being led astray and are into all these harmful behaviors is because of pop culture and media influence. And I'm like, yes, pumping my fist in the air when she said it, because she didn't have a clue I'd be coming on for a 7-minute showdown to give examples of how pop culture is destroying the next generation and what we can do to stop it and to get our country back on track. So it excites me, Kevin, because not many people address the issue. And like you said, they want to skirt around the issue. They don't know how to address it. A lot of parents don't want to talk about it either because they're not aware that this is going on. Or I get a lot of people when I speak at parent conferences afraid to speak up to their kids because they want their kids to like them. And, it's wild. My dad, he was like, you're not watching that. Back then, I was threatened if I turned the TV on to watch Dirty Dancing, I'm dead.
Right, and you watch that now and you say, big deal, right?
That's about it. Can we get Dirty Dancing back if we have to watch something horrible?
Yeah. Well, and I see this too, and unfortunately, some of it is, I've seen parents act that way before the child is even speaking or walking. They say like, well, I don't want them to. They actually feel like that their behavior as a disciplinarian or as someone who's in charge is going to create a negative thing in their life. And my kids, they're 9 and 6, and you know what? Nobody has a phone, and they know that where dad stands on this stuff. And video games are ultra limited. They're very, Santa brought the Xbox just last year, and it's, it's played a little bit, but we always choose baseball and football and basketball over that when we want to go outside. And the other thing too is they know, hey, I say, you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, you want to go to a friend's house, play video games, that's great. Go do it. That's why we're there that day. But that's not going to be where we're running things here. We're going to actually talk to one another and actually, and I think they even can appreciate it at that young age, so let alone at an older age. But the Moms March, thank you for doing that. And it's so great now that it's going to be national and, be bigger and better than ever. So to have people like you and Governor Palin, as two of the stars of it, I mean, we already know what kind of an event it is.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And it was just neat. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years, explaining Hollywood hypocrisy in my show called Hollywood Exposed. But whenever I speak at large events, and I'm talking 10,000 people at once in the audience, all people come up, never heard of you. And I'm like, maybe that's a good thing, because I am talking about these issues, and I don't want a celebrity to call me with death threats, like, what are you doing exposing how I'm raising my kids? But it's a pleasure, and it was an honor to speak with her. Just to be able to meet with her and know that we have kindred spirits, it was just fantastic. And it really energizes a person, because sometimes when we're doing this, especially fighting on the front of the battle scene here on something that really matters, you think sometimes you're alone, or does anyone care? And to see other women that are just as passionate as you are, where you can't eat, sleep, or breathe anything else than exposing lies of pop culture, it's a good reminder to keep on the right track and keep doing the right thing.
Well, that's what's great about what you do specifically is, sure, as someone who was in the business, you tell us about your own experiences and what you saw hands-on, and that's great. But we've heard that story from a lot of conservatives before. What you're doing is you're giving us specific examples of hypocrisy, of, works for my family but not yours. It makes me think of the whole gun issue in America, too. Governor Palin just posted on Facebook a week and a half ago or so, a picture of Hillary walking around with a bunch of men in suits, and then she wrote gun by all of their waists, because obviously they all have one, but yet Hillary's going to, speak out against our Second Amendment. I find that to be, the same type of hypocrisy that we see on kids' issues. They'll tell us this is fine for your kid, yet they may shelter theirs from it.
It drives me crazy. I know, I can't stand it, especially with this horrific Las Vegas incident exactly a week ago tonight. And to see the liberals jumping on board right away, we have to control everybody, no one can have guns. I'm like, seriously? Yeah, exactly, same thing. 10 bodyguards around you when you're jumping around to your different events in Hollywood and New York and everywhere else for your fashion shows and festivals and concerts that you're doing. So I think it's important that we maintain to have the right to bear arms. And I love the fact that people are speaking up and doing the right things through all of this. It's making people aware of how celebs really live their own lives. The thing that I like about the show that I do is that Madonna, for example, she has sheltered her own kids while they were growing up. Now her oldest daughter, Lourdes, is actually in college. But, for example, she has said in many interviews, she says, quote, if anything, I wish she dressed more conservatively. So she's telling her daughter, put on more clothing.
Right.
And yet she's half naked for our kids, not my kids.
Yeah.
But,
or when we see, what all of these celebrities coming out against President Trump when he was candidate Trump about some of his comments and calling him a sexist and misogynist and this and that, and then you see what they do on stage from Miley Cyrus to Madonna and the whole crew. I mean, it's just laughable. Anyone who it takes 2 clicks of the mouse to see the hypocrisy and say, are you kidding me? And that's largely why the president won. I really do believe that. But
totally.
And it's funny you say not my kids with Madonna. I do like to expose my children to something with more of a lifespan than just 3 years. And, I like to show them old movies and talk about old sports. And my daughter likes history and so on and so forth. And they like old music. We listen to a lot of 80s and 90s, and they like Hendrix and Billy Joel and, lots of different people. But I tell you what, neither one of them would know who Madonna even is. That comes on, I click it right off. And there are those extreme cases where I just say, you know what, gone. Because, this person, what they have done to, the comments and the actions toward our country, really, you got to go.
Yep. I totally agree. Our kids have to all meet someday, because they're starting their own little posse of their own, because
Little Patriots.
Beyonce, I love it. We just took the kids all to Branson the last 2 days, and we took them to see Six last night. And my husband and I, are they too young? Are they going to like it? All four of them love the songs. They're singing patriotic songs, songs from the 80s, 90s. And I'm like, this is what Mommy used to listen to, where times were innocent compared to today.
I certainly believe that parents, within everything that is right and legal and normal, should be able to raise their kids the way they want. This is America. If you think a movie is appropriate for your kid that I don't, okay, that is your choice. Also, I think kids are different, from coaching and from parenting. I know that some kids like certain things and can watch it and deal with it and process it. Others, it may not be a good idea at that age. That said, we need to get the information out there so parents are actually making that choice. And that's the thing. They're not even making the choice. They're just blindly going, hey, go ahead, go. Everybody's watching this, so go watch it. And they're coming out of it not realizing the major effects it may have. And also, let's remember, this is in print, too. We talked about Teen Vogue on this program a few months ago. Remember, not Vogue, Teen Vogue, talking about anal sex.
It blows my mind. I also put a video out on that. I hear you. It really is illegal because
right? It is, right? I mean, this is children. Teen. It's Teen Vogue. You just said teen. That means unless you're 18 or 19, you are a child.
It's ridiculous. And, I mean, they have graphic pictures. They have sex toys in there for our kids to get in middle school. Are you serious? And it's even marketed to 11-year-old kids. So that's like 2 years older than my son Jake right now, which, not over my dead body. It's not going to happen.
Same thing here. We 6 and 9 for my kids. And I mean, they're luckily and unfortunately for my wallet, but they're in a Christian school. And look, let's not be naive. Things go on there too, and there's lots of. But I get the report from them, and it's also parents are involved, so you're there. You actually the doors aren't slammed on you, for the 6, 7, 8 hours that they're in there during the day, so you do get an idea. But I see some of the things in the public school, and they both were public school for kindergarten and got through it. But some of the things that go on, I mean, it's unbelievable, and for your kid, it's almost they're taking instead of being a teaching environment, instead of enhancing your child, teaching your child, they're actually taking a good chunk of their childhood away by some of the things they're exposed to.
Yeah, and it's so graphic at such a young age. And honestly, a lot of these issues like sex ed and we can get a whole host of different issues here, but gender questioning and all these different things that are going on. Like, I mean, that story that just broke about a week ago in California, where you had the teacher that allowed the boy student to go change and come back a girl and freaked a bunch of classmates out that were in kindergarten. I mean, these things should be talked about and left with the parents to decide when and how to address it, period. When kids go to school, it should be math, English, history. Let's get history back of how our country actually came into existence. They're ditching history. They're rewriting the history books if they do have them.
Right.
There's even my friend Carla Diodesi, I'm having her on this week in Hollywood Insider. She is talking about how these graphic books that are on mandatory reading lists for our kids in middle school and high school is full of pedophiles and porn. Yeah. And it's pushed on the students.
Right. Well, Carla,
it's crazy.
And Carla's a great friend of this program too, and she's absolutely right, and we give her such big thumbs up for the things she's exposed and talked about, and back to the Palins, a thing that I know Bristol tackled big time, and I've not been to a Target since their whole bathroom policy. And,
that's awesome.
And let me tell you something. We have a really good Target by us. It has the grocery store and the whole thing. We would go at least once a week because it's connected to our mall as well, so it's very convenient. And a lot of times you'd say, oh, you want that new Batman thing? You want that new toy? Great, because you know what? I have to get groceries too, or I need something too. The day that happened, we stopped. Haven't been back since. This is years now, and you know what? Don't miss it at all. There's ways. I compare it to what's going on in the NFL right now. I mean, when you think you can't live without something, and then you look at how silly it really all is, and you back away and you say, you know what? Look at this. You had more family dinner. You had more time with this. You got some work done. You got a little sleep. I mean, different things you could actually do, to occupy your time. But the Target deal and things like that, if you don't expose it, people aren't going to do anything. But you're right about people being quiet, I'll tell you that, but it doesn't mean they're not listening. And there are some moms and dads who are not going to speak up, but they are going to agree with you. And if they hear people like you speak out, well, then maybe they're going to say, you know what, I agree with that, and I'm not going to buy that product or Teen Vogue or Target and the whole thing.
Yep. I was just going to say the exact same thing. I've been telling people for years, if we don't buy, they won't supply. The thing I never got with Hollywood is that the top grossing movies are like Toy Story 3. The year that came out, that was the top grossing movie. Finding Nemo. It's actually the positive, feel-good, family-friendly flicks that make a lot of cash at the box office. And yet Hollywood is, let's pump more violence and sex and threesomes in our movies. Well, those don't even sell that decent at the box office. So they're definitely pushing their agenda, and yet America is speaking back saying, we don't want it.
Right, and I know the Palins were at the forefront for both of these companies too. It also works the opposite way. The Chick-fil-A's, the Hobby Lobbies.
Yes.
When you are not afraid. I know people who are not even Christians or who are not strong Christians who see this situation with Chick-fil-A and with Hobby Lobby and just saw the hypocrisy of it all, and they even supported them to say this is craziness. Gays who go to Chick-fil-A because they thought it was so ridiculous. People who are atheists, not agnostic, atheists who shop at Hobby Lobby if they have half a brain because they say, you know what, who are you to tell them what they can sell or what they can write? Yet, when it works to their narrative, then they do feel they can tell you what to do.
Yeah, and you know what? What has really driven me nuts for years is when we want to do the right thing because we love the Lord, believe His word, and say, hey, we want to share truth in a loving way, no matter what the situation is, abortion, homosexuality, all of it, the violence in the media. You'd think that people would let us have free speech, and yet they are saying that we're haters, that we're trying to push an agenda. And I'm thinking, if you want to have your way of seeing things, fine, but allow us to have ours and know that we're trying to free you from bondage and to get you out of a lifestyle of sin. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're working 24 hours a day to help get the truth out there in the hopes that one person might be saved. And I'm glad there's people like you out there exposing this. I'm glad there's speakers like Sarah Palin who are out there getting family back together, because Satan is attacking, wanting to kill, steal, and destroy, and trying to rip the family unit apart, lies from every angle. Is there any way, Kevin, that we can get secular media stripped out of the ground, knock down their radio towers, unplug them from the internet, get rid of them from Hollywood? Because the thing that I'm really concerned about is our kids today are being raised by a satanic entertainment medium, and they're not showing the truth. And if we want to get the truth out there, our voice is not being heard. We have Facebook. I put videos on Facebook, but I'm telling you, Kevin, right now I had Facebook in the last month strip down 4 of my posts because they said there was sexual or nudity involved.
Of course.
None of them had any of them attached. They're just basically taking away my free speech rights.
And they look for words. I've even had it too, and I have a friend who will point it out to me. They'll notice it every time. If I talk about a particular subject or subjects, all of a sudden the share button won't be there. The comment will be, it'll be there, and you can comment and you can but let's limit the sharing on this because, he's saying that abortion's not good, so we better get this guy. But if you want to speak out for Colin Kaepernick, please share away. Let me ask you this before we let you go. You're great. This has been a great 2 weeks having you on. We really appreciate your time. We talked a lot about fictional stuff, movies, video games. We talked about music. Another thing that I found, which is so frustrating as a parent. Now, look, you see, if your kid's a little kid and it's just a horror movie, you don't even have to watch it to see it's a horror movie. You know that a 6-7-year-old shouldn't watch that. Those are easy, I think, But what gets me is you can't watch anything without a commercial coming on that's inappropriate. Okay?
Yeah.
You can't watch sports, okay, without me sitting there with the flashback button. I'm always on the flash. We watch wrestling, and we know the commercials are going to be horrifying for my daughter, so I have to hit the last button to go back to a baseball game or something, or like the Weather Channel, to know that, there's nothing they need to see there. So it's in the commercials, but it's also in the quote unquote reality programs, if you will. Okay, now look. If you're watching a reality program that's a dating program, or even a program where people are living together, a Survivor, whatever, well, you know what? You're going to have to expect some of this stuff, okay? Because it's about people together. But I'm talking about like cooking shows and shows that should be completely safe for everybody. I try to watch a cooking show with the kids, Cupcake Wars, whatever it may be. And, because, I never found a cupcake I didn't like. But that said, you watch these programs, and even on those shows, they have to go into some sort of, and here's my husband as a man. We're gonna now promote gay marriage. Oh, here's this. We're gonna promote this. Some sort of a Muslim agenda, whatever it may be. And whether you agree with that or not is not the point. The point is, what the heck is that doing in a cupcake show? There's no reason for it to be there, and I have to sit there worried about who the contestant is on Jeopardy when they say who's in the audience for them, and not saying these person's bad or what they're doing or anything like that. The point is there's a 6 and a 9-year-old sitting there watching it who maybe I don't want to discuss that with yet.
Yeah, and of course we know it's going to be biased because you never hear of a person that's allowed to say on Jeopardy, I'm a Christian, gave my life to the Lord at 15, on fire for him ever since, I'm helping with orphanages and
exactly
doing this and that and working at my church.
And back to the NFL. Can I take a knee for abortion? Can I put my fist up for Christian persecution, for mutilation, for gays, Christians, Jews, and women being thrown off buildings every day in the Middle East? Can I put my fist up for that? I mean, Brandon Marshall tried to wear green shoes for mental illness awareness and was told that's against the uniform code. But as long as it's against the flag, it's okay. So it just goes to show where everybody stands on this, and we know that. But what gets me is you figure you'd have somewhere that you can go and watch a program. You can't watch anything without having your finger on that button if you have little kids.
Yeah, on the TV, and you're exactly right. However,
I like TV. That's why it gets me mad. I enjoy TV. I'm tired and I want to watch it.
I know. Well, there's 2 things we can do that I can think of at the top of my head. But if I really thought deep for 5 minutes, I have 20 solutions. But here's one. One is I've been telling people for years when speaking at the Hollywood Exposed doing shows, from prisons to cruise ships to high schools, middle schools, music festivals, all over that I've spoken, I have been telling parents and kids and teens, because they are calling. They are texting my phone weekly. They're emailing me. They're like, I can't believe this commercial came on. Check this out. Screenshots. I get it all. I tell them to call the Federal Communication Commission because we still have a voice, and they know if there's one complaint, there's thousands of other people that feel the exact same way. They want to watch cupcakes without seeing a threesomes in bed, over a yogurt commercial. It has nothing to do with it. And you can call the Federal Communication Commission at 1-888-225-5322. The second thing that I absolutely love, this company's been out since 2015, is PureFlix. It's FLIX. In fact, if you go to my website, counterculturemom.com, on the right-hand side, scroll halfway down in the sidebar, you will see PureFlix for 1 free month, and you will love it. It's a couple bucks a month after that point, but sign up for your 1 free month, and it's all quality entertainment. You don't have to worry about commercials. You don't have to waste time watching a commercial regarding good or bad, regardless if it's good or bad. These are family-friendly entertainment. There's only over 6,500 different selections to choose from series to even church shows. There's a series I love called The Encounter. It's fantastic, life-changing episodes that I still remember 5 or 6 months later. It literally talks about real issues that kids are going through today, that parents are going through today, and it gives you a godly way to solve the problem. And it's a quick 30-minute show. You don't have to worry about commercials at all in it, of course. There's kids' cooking channel on there. There are all different talk shows on there, but it's positive, family-friendly entertainment. Of course, the other option is VidAngel, vidangel.com. You can sign up for a couple bucks a month there, test it for a month for free as well, and I have all those links on my resource tab on my website, Counterculture Mom, like 50 links, all categorized for parents tuning in today if you need direction because you feel overwhelmed. I put it all together for the last 20 years. I've been collecting evidence, collecting data, and this is a great top spot to go to. VidAngel allows you to play a show that you like that might have a 5-minute scene you wish wasn't in there. Guess what? You can filter out within seconds what you don't want your kids to see, and you can enjoy that film or TV show porn-free. You can enjoy it drug-free, violence-free, and of course, if it's a really bad show, like Game of Thrones, for example, or The Strain. There's another TV show you want to run from. You don't even want to put that through VidAngel because it'll filter out everything to a point where all you have is the credits in the beginning and the credits at end. So, and so
right.
Take a good
that's
show
not
that's
for kids,
95%
probably.
there.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, don't waste your time there.
Good stuff. Well, listen, Tina, we really appreciate you. Great 2 weeks. Thank you so much for being with us. And again, tell everybody your website.
Yes, counterculturemom.com. And if you want my pop culture alerts, you just text the word pop culture, no spaces, to the number 44222. Sign up to get our pop culture alerts of the week, and I will text your phone once a week of the top urgent alert so you find out about this graphic, gruesome content or a great flick or app coming up for your kids that you have to get your hands on or have to steer clear from. So the power is back in the parents' hands, and we can keep our kids safe from this graphic content. I do tons of research, spend the time doing it. I love being the undercover FBI agent for you guys. So jump on board and get the pop culture alerts as well.
Awesome. Wonderful conversation. I hope you'll join us again.
Yeah, I'll see you next week.
There you go. She's a regular, folks. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch.
No worries. You got it.
For much more on the Counterculture Mom, Tina Marie Griffin, visit counterculturemom.com. Now it's time for Sarah Palin news, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. Mike Pence walks out on the NFL. Kaepernick ready to stand all of a sudden now that his wallet is thin. What are they teaching in universities these days for a student to go out and do something like this? God bless our first responders. Continued extensive coverage of Vegas on sarahpalin.com. Liberals now target Halloween. And thank you, Governor Palin, for featuring my latest piece on American Horror Story. To read about all of these stories, you can visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety and to read her devotionals, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and don't miss the new sarahpalin.com. Now let's head to the crow's nest. Here's Tanya Crow.
Thanks, Kevin. So here we are, a week or so into this Hollywood scandal, and I find it fascinating that the Democratic Party claims to be the party of feminism and of women, so much so that we were actually patronized and condescended to and talked down to by both Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton concerning our vote for Trump this last election. And where is the feminism and where's the protection of women when it comes to that? And it's so interesting to hear Meryl Streep talk this year's at the Oscars about exactly the person that Harvey Weinstein is. And of course, she was commenting on our wonderful President Trump, whose quote-unquote misogyny has been based on a rigged, edited version of an Access Hollywood tape that to this day I can't even find in its entirety, because I found it that first week that this news broke in October. And of course, NBC cut out 2 or 3 sentences that were giving context to his statement of men being able to grab women's privates when they have power, fame, and money. And it made it very clear that he was making a comment on society as a whole. There was absolutely nothing personal about that comment whatsoever. But of course, NBC was able to edit the version that they ended up putting out to the public, that it was him that he was speaking about, a personal comment on what he was capable of doing or even had done in the past, according to Hillary Clinton, who in the last week of publicity, she's talking to the BBC, and she actually used the word admitted. We have an admitted offender against women in the White House. It's a lie, an absolute lie. And the Democratic Party has been protecting this man that's such a huge donor and such a huge powerhouse in the Hollywood crowd for decades, and giving absolute no protection to any of the women that would come in his way. And the hypocrisy once again continues to shine when it comes to the left, and in particular the progressives, who have continued to demasculinize our society, going after the NFL, going after the Boy Scouts, where the Boy Scouts are a known entity that turns boys into men. Now they're attacking that, going after all the legitimate American institutions that create men in this country, or that are watched by the real men of this world when it comes to the NFL, and attempting to take these institutions down. And coming from the party of wimps, I'm not surprised, because the last thing they want is a country filled with men that are going to stand up and protect their women with their guns and their words and their votes and their actions. But that's what's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. And the real feminists and the real women of this society are coming out to protect those that need protection. Thank God we are now in a fight to protect and preserve what is good and what is special and what is powerful, truly powerful, because the Democrats are the party for power, the party of power, whatever. That's what they hold dear. And it'll be fabulous to see that power that they've held slip between their fingers and the power get taken back into the hands of the individual, into the hands of us, the people, where it was supposed to be many hundreds of years ago and will be returned. Till next time, this is Tanya Crow with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tanya Crow on Mama Grizzly Radio. More from the Crow's Nest next week. Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
Americans do hard things. I know, I keep talking about this. I've talked about it before. But the most important part about America is our people. You and me. We are the original, authentic grassroots just by being an American citizen. But the grassroots that we are today didn't begin in 2009 when Obamacare was shoved down our throats. The American grassroots began in 1775 when, under the leadership of rebels like Samuel Adams, ignited the flame of liberty that lit the world on fire and offered a beacon of freedom and human progress to all men. These leaders were unreasonable for the cause of liberty. These leaders were unreasonable for the cause of liberty. Isn't that awesome? Moments of adversity and challenge always reveal character and disclose cowardice or courage. Moments of action uncover decision or fear. The grassroots of modern America are unwavering and unreasonable for the cause of liberty, and thankfully, I am so blessed to work with them every day with the Convention of States Project. For anybody listening who is looking for an answer, who is looking for a place to go where you can do something, join me with the Convention of States Project. Grassroots leadership among ourselves and our organizations and communities is not about titles, positions, and flowcharts, but rather fanning the flames of liberty, life, and influencing each other to bring out the best in each other, to bring out the best in our country and what we want for our future. And when this flow starts happening, we, the people, become an unstoppable inertia that grows exponentially based on the pure gravitational force of positive energy exerted by inspired people. At our core is American exceptionalism. This is a uniquely American belief that Americans are entitled by their inalienable rights as citizens of their country to individual liberty, equality, opportunity, the free market, limited government, and the right to defend all of it by force if required. Thank you, Second Amendment. Underpinning all of this is the unshakable dictum that governing power is derived from the consent of the people. We don't see that very much today because we're being told, we're actually being shown that the swamp, anybody who enters the swamp immediately gets pulled into that negative, gooey, gross mess. Today, Beltway insiders and the corruptocracy laugh at the premise of American exceptionalism. Millionaire professional athletes can only point to our errors and failings, which is the height of hypocrisy because they are the exclamation point on American exceptionalism. With more than 1,100 millionaires in the National Football League, many are willing today to take a knee and badmouth our nation. The very nation and the very grassroots that have made them famous, iconic, and exceptional. Ronald Reagan had it right when in his first inaugural address on January 20th, 1981, he said, in this present crisis, remember, they're coming off of Jimmy Carter, massive taxation, gas lines miles long. So Ronald Reagan said, in this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. And from time to time, we have been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule and that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people. He continued, well, if no one among us is capable of governing himself, who among us has the capacity to govern someone else? Thank you, President Reagan. Bravo. Today's corruptocracy and critics mock our nation. They mock those who defend and protect us. They mock our flag. They mock you and me, we the people who still believe we are a divinely inspired and indeed exceptional nation. We are looking for leaders who see things as positive, opposite of the haters. And as my pastor says, haters gonna hate. This is precisely why the grassroots have risen since the 2008 election of Barack Obama. When America needs leadership, the people rise. I love that I get to work with exceptional Americans every day who are standing up, speaking up, and showing up to do something. The Convention of States Project is that something, that uniquely American activity that is inspiring a nation from our communities on up. We've now hit 3 million supporters in America. It's incredible. How are we reaching this many people? Because we're doing interviews with the media, of course, but mostly we are hanging out our Liberty shingle via social media and within our communities by hosting public meetings and presentations and town halls in tons of small towns and medium-sized towns and large towns across this nation, all led by unpaid grassroots leaders in their state house districts who believe that America is exceptional and they are humble enough to believe that they have the talent and passion and love for our country, more importantly, love for our neighbor, that they can make a difference. When it comes to preserving, protecting, and championing liberty, every one of us can do something. You can make a phone call to a legislator, show up at your state capitol to walk the halls, provide testimony at a committee hearing, send letters to your elected representatives, write an opinion piece for your local paper, call into a radio show. These are some of the same tactics used by our founders more than 230 years ago. But this time, things are different because we have a constitution, and within it is Article 5. So we don't have to pull out guns and bayonets and have swords to fight on a battlefield to restore liberty. Article 5 is the peaceful, legal, and constitutional way to restore liberty and self-governance in America. Thank you, each one of you listening to this broadcast, because each one of you are part of the grassroots fabric that make up America's massive, awesome liberty flag. What you have done for this nation in the past 8 years cannot ever be repaid, and you don't expect it. But I'm saying thank you. We have more work to do. You need to stay inspired and keep it up. Keep up the pressure. We know, you and I know, Washington will never fix itself. So we, the people, must again be prepared to do the heavy lifting like we always do when we are called upon by Mother Liberty. God bless you all this week. Please ask 5 of your friends to sign the petition at cosaction.com and let me know that you did by tweeting me at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizz Radio. Thank you, grassroots warriors. Thank you. I am inspired by you. I will continue to live inspired because of your efforts and love for your neighbor and love for your country. You are the difference that will save this nation. Have a blessed, amazing week. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and the Crow's Nest, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. Like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Tanya Yoga 13, and at FBR ABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to breitbart.com/columnists/Kevin-Scholla. I'm also contributing to sarahpalin.com. Please check out my latest piece this week. Visit sarahpalin.com/author/Kevin-Scholla. So very honored to be working on the governor's new site. I want to thank Tamara Colbert, Tanya Crow, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Tina Marie Griffin, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit facebook.com/FullBattleRattleABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.